Ayo, what up, everybody? Welcome back to the Generational Beef Podcast. I'm your host, Tristan Terrell, as well as my dad,
Noel Terrell, Generational Beef.
the Beef.
Special episode in person.
Yeah. Working out some kinks through there, but we're having fun. We're enjoying it. So we got a good one for you today. We're going to start off with what I predicted in last week's episode. It wasn't a prediction for y'all because y'all saw it after the news broke on Wednesday, but we recorded on Tuesday night before you saw it. Trey Hendrickson to the Ravens.
Yeah, look, I don't think he's as good as Max Crosby.
I think it's close.
He's going to a better football team all the way around, with the exception of quarterback and wide receivers. And so it's good for him. I don't believe at all.
With the exception of quarterback, you think Joe Burrow's better than Lamar Jackson?
What I'm saying is, I don't know. Well, I do know in the playoff perspective, it's an upgrade.
One of them hasn't been there in 3 years, so
understood, but partially because of defense being terrible, which this guy was part of, for the record.
Well, okay, hold on. He's the only player with more sacks than him in the last 3 years is Myles Garrett. Because of him. Why?
The point I am making is that, I mean, it's great for him.
Yeah, for sure. Much better team.
I think Crosby's a better player. I think it's crap. There's no way I buy the official story, which is we were going to bring them both in. But then we saw that knee that no one knew about. Because when we talked about this the other day, I said it can't be injury related. And it's not. It's not like this was a mystery to anyone that this was going on. Everybody knew. And so I just assumed it was something else because everybody knew that was occurring. I think the second part of that is this was them like, okay, look, he's still available. Let's just go that route. We get our picks back and we move on.
Well, especially because the market
screwed the Raiders.
For sure. But especially because the market for Trey Hendrickson didn't end up being as high as we expected it to be. I think he signed for 25 or 30, whenever he probably could have gotten 35 or 40. At least what we anticipated. But the market clearly wasn't as high as that. I think that a big deal, I mean, we'll have to see once. I don't know if they are, but if somebody else ends up trading for Max Crosby, like what somebody else says about the medical thing, there could be some validity in it, but I do believe it is probably closer to a loophole.
The best medical care you can get.
Sure.
I feel like he's where he should be.
Yeah. I feel like it is closer to them using it as a loophole because they were able to get Trey Hendrickson.
It's not closer. That's what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you keep 2 first-round picks, you save money. Like there's no downside. I mean, yes, maybe Max Crosby is a slightly better player. It's close enough though, especially whenever you consider like the gap is that and the amount of value.
The gap is that,
but the amount of value
is a bona fide game wrecker at times.
Sure, but I mean, Trey Hendrickson, I mean, like I said, the only guy with more sacks in the last 3 years than him is Myles Garrett. And sacks aren't end all be all, right? You still got the running game, you still got just like pressures, your effect on the game. But I think that it's close enough that when you also account for the value of being able to have 2 extra first round picks and some extra money.
My problem isn't that that's the decision they made.
No, for sure.
I do believe they screwed the Raiders.
Absolutely.
Right? The Raiders started acting as if this is what they had in their back pocket.
We'll see.
And they don't act.
We'll see coming over the next 6 months, the next year, 2 years, whatever, if the Ravens get into a spot where they think they need another piece or they think that, like, hey, if we can change this, like, we've got it. If they try and make another move with a team, we'll see. It might hurt them too. I mean, like it definitely hurt the Raiders, obviously, but it could hurt them if teams are a little bit weary. Like,
look, if Crosby comes into the next season and is the same player we've always seen, then if you're another team going to be in the trade market with Baltimore, you're going to be a little gun shy.
Oh yeah, I mean, or even if you're not gun shy, you're definitely offering them a lot less, or expecting them to offer you a lot more.
Right, because I mean, right now, you at least in the short term, you've kind of hurt your credibility.
Sure. Then again, I say that, and that was also my take after the Broncos cut Russell Wilson, like seemingly when it wasn't necessarily his fault, and they took on all this dead cap money for no reason. I'm like, team players are just not going to sign there, and well, they're one of the best teams in the league. So what do I know? They probably, I mean,
name a free agent signing they signed it.
Not necessarily. Well, I mean, they got Dre Greenlaw from the Niners. They got Hufanga from the Niners, which were both massive picks, literally last offseason, and then they won 14 games. And this year they didn't have any major signings, but they re-signed everybody, and that's valid.
But those are signings, and whether you blame Russell Wilson or not, everybody saw what that looked like, and it was ugly.
I mean, year one with Nathaniel Hackett, yes, because Nathaniel Hackett's one of the worst coaches in the history of the sport. Year two, he wasn't the solution, obviously, but he wasn't the problem either.
I'm not suggesting
he played well enough. He played well in the circumstance.
He didn't play to the contract or even close.
No, of course not. Of course not.
That's the problem.
Of course not.
Right,
I do believe that he plays a lot closer to the level that Bo Nix currently plays than people want to give him credit for. But obviously, the contract is a big. The contract's a big difference.
Probably play better than that, but the contracts are part of it.
That's fair. That's completely valid. So yeah. We've also got the Kyler Murray signing. You know, that's a league minimum 1 year deal for the Vikings.
This is 100% the right move. The upside here is crazy, right?
Could be.
I saw something today. It was actually interesting when you look at Kyler's career passing yards per game.
Yeah.
And rushing yards per game. He's right at Josh Allen numbers. I'm not saying he's Josh Allen, obviously.
The half a foot means a lot. The half a foot in the 50 pounds means a lot.
What I am saying, though, is we know Kyler can play. And we know Kyler.
He puts up numbers, that's for sure.
Well,
when he plays.
But he's never had a team like the Vikings. And so the reason that I love this signing and the reason I think it's a great signing, there's zero risk here. It's a 1 year deal.
Yeah.
Right? If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it does work, the upside here is tremendous. Right? I'm not saying this will happen.
Yeah.
But when you look at the rest of that roster, adding Kyler with the best offensive line he's ever played with, the best receivers he's ever played with, probably the best running game he's ever had, and definitely the best defense he's ever been with. Think about this. They could win the North.
I don't buy that, but I think it's within the realm of possibility.
We know their coach is great. The defense is great. They still got Flores coaching the defense. Obviously, at wide receiver combo, there's only one other one that possibly rivals it, which is Chase Higgins.
Sure.
Right? When you put all that together and Kyler Murray's athleticism and his ability to make plays, his accuracy down the field.
I think Puka Vontae is right there with them, but
I'm talking combo.
Yeah, Puka and Devontae Adams is right there with them. I mean, Devontae Adams led the league in touchdowns last year.
Anyway, point is, it's top 3. He's never had that. I get that he had
2020 D-Hop and Larry Fitz was right there.
I love Larry Fitz. Love him. But he was a possession guy. He wasn't breaking anything down.
I'm not saying necessarily that, but when you add him to DeAndre Hopkins and Christian Kirk and the running game with Kyler and James Conner, and then on defense they had J.J. Watt but they had J.J. Watt, who when he played was really freaking good
was
still.
Not even close
Buda Baker. No, but they had pieces.
And
it was a good.
I love both of those receivers, historically speaking. They're not Justin Jefferson. He's already done things they didn't do early in their career. That's just a fact.
Yeah, I believe that he is more talented than either of them.
100%. It's not.
DeAndre Hopkins is phenomenal. He's up there.
Understood. I
love it. But
he's an all-time great. Just pointing out that you've got a more experienced quarterback at this point. You got a guy that wants to prove it. I assume.
Right.
I don't know that, but I'm assuming, or he would have just left him out of baseball, which I'm sure that door would still be open.
Probably not for the. I mean, well,
but
the other thing,
the money anyway.
I don't know if you retire. I don't know that he has those guarantees.
I don't even know that he has to retire to go play baseball, and he's just not going to play. But neither here nor there.
I guess that's fair. I don't know the logistics.
I don't know the answer.
I would at that point they'd be able to find a way to find a loophole if he's on a roster for another sport.
All I'm saying is there's zero question he's better than 9.
Oh, for sure. I mean, yeah. I could name 37. I would rather take 2 of the 9. Stop.
He can run it. Although he got
No, he can't.
Anyway, point is that there's no downside for the Vikings. There's a ton of upside.
The legitimate downside is that and I'm not saying this happens, but Kyler gets hurt 4 games in, and then you're still playing 13 games with 9 as your quarterback because
It
you're
didn't cost you anything. So
no, but I'm saying, but then your backup option that you brought in was a guy that is known to be injury prone whenever you definitely know you don't trust the guy that's already there. So then I guess my point is that you bring in this backup option who only plays 4 games, and then you have to go back to 9 anyways. And then after 13 games with JJ McCarthy, then Justin Jefferson definitely wants out.
Here's the thing. You signing Kyler? Because right now you don't feel like
I don't know that there is another option. I'm just saying that there is still downside.
And the upside is
there is the upside there for sure. Now, I still think I probably slightly put them in last place percentage-wise to win that division, just because I think that I don't trust Kyler to make it through the season, and even if he does, there's growing pains there, and so you never know. I mean, for what it's worth, he did miss
the coaches in football.
Sure, he did miss most of this season with injury, so it's not like he's just coming and he's changing scenery and then whatever. He's coming back from injury while also changing scenery. While
upside,
sure, I would say that if you're giving me like 100% of like a pie to pick the NFC North, I would say that for me the leader is the Bears with like a 30% chance.
Yep.
Then I would say after that it's the Lions or
numbers out of your
the Packers with like, or no, sorry, we'll say 35% chance. Then we'll say the Packers with 30%. And that gets me to 65. So then I got 35 left. Then I would go Lions like 20 and the Vikings 15%. Is theoretical,
it's
but
a division.
Agreed.
Now, here's the problem with that, and then we'll move on. The worst roster in that division is the Packers.
I mean, you'll get Micah back relatively early in the season. That defense is stacked. They've still got.
I don't know that it's stacked.
I mean, it's really good. I mean, you've got Xavier McKinney. You've got Micah Parsons. I mean, you lost Rashawn Gary.
It's the 4th best offense in the division. If Kyler plays well.
I would say that it's probably the 4th best offense, but I would say also as of now they have the best quarterback in the division.
That's unfair. It's disrespectful.
I mean, it's either him or Caleb.
Well, but you at least have to consider Goff.
I disagree. I think the numbers for Goff are relatively there, but if I'm talking talent and I'm talking who I trust the most, I
trust.
Yeah, trust.
Love can turn into a turnover machine.
Can, but he doesn't typically. I would say
but he has at times.
Very minimal times. I would say there's a lot more of the good times than the bad. But all right, we've also got today actually, because we're recording Monday, not Tuesday. You'll still see it Wednesday, but we're recording Monday night. Today we got Justin Fields to the Chiefs for a 6th round pick.
I gotta say this, I love it for him. I don't know that it matters in the short term for the Chiefs.
No.
If he's got what it takes to be a quarterback in this league, and everybody talks about how great a guy he is and how hard a worker he is, how he is in the locker room. If he does have talent, and obviously we know how athletic he is.
This is the best spot to prove it if you've got
Well, you've got an all-time coach, you've got an all-time quarterback to be behind. If you're going to be successful,
and you've got, and I know he's way past it, but you've still got an all-time check down option in Trav.
But even if he doesn't see the field this year,
I think that's the only reason you do it. If there's a possibility maybe that Pat misses 3 games at the start.
But here's the key to me. You're going into a situation where I almost look at this as 6th round pick for a guy like Fields is not much.
No.
Right? He's not going to cost you a lot of money either.
Yeah.
And the upside potential at some point when Mahomes isn't there, if he's still on that roster.
Well, okay. Well,
or I'm just
there's no way that ever happened. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is still only like 31.
He could retire next year.
He's not going.
I know that. My point is, if he's on that roster, or if he does play 4 or 5 games at the beginning of this year in a read offense, right?
Just to keep you in it, because you got to stay competitive till Pat comes back.
And looks good, then his value.
Oh, I mean, there's
as a bargaining tool for the Chiefs.
For him, this is high risk, high reward. Because if you get on the field, this is your best possibility because you've got the offensive mind, you've got a structure there. There is a great potential that you could look better than you ever have, but there's also the high risk of like, if you look bad, this is it for you.
No, but hold on. There is no risk.
No.
There's no. no one's going to think worse of him than what they already do.
And that's fair. I'm just saying, like, if you go play under Andy Reid and still look bad, that's it. You're done. Now, maybe that was the case no matter where the next stop was.
Already think that.
Sure, but maybe that was the case no matter where the next stop was. You suck, you're done.
Right.
But at least if it was Cleveland, maybe somebody else is like, well, it's Cleveland.
But for the most part, I think the downside's low.
Sure.
Because is everything.
I think that the big thing that still gets him on rosters, other than obviously his just pure athletic talent, is the fact that you look at the situations, Chicago, Pittsburgh, New York, like it's been bad situation after bad situation. So to some degree, you can be like, although at some point it has to end, to some degree, you can be like, well, how much was that his fault? I think there's a good amount of it.
With the Jets,
right,
and the Bears at the time,
right. But that's
easy to know.
But that's my point. So if his next stop was the Browns, somebody else could still be like, well, how much of that was his fault? With Kansas City, you're not saying that.
Fair.
You're not saying that, especially because they had a good offseason, right? They still have Creed Humphrey, obviously, and a solid offensive line. You've got Trav, who's old, but is still going to be reliable check down. You've got Kenneth Walker, and now you'll have Rashee Rice and Xavier Worthy both come back. They'll be healthy. And then obviously Andy Reid.
There's no questioning the athlete that he is.
Oh, for sure.
There's
absolutely.
No questioning the arm talent. He can throw it.
He can throw it far.
Yeah. The question is, can he work within a system?
Yeah.
This is your best chance.
Can you work within a system? Can you be accurate? Can you make the right reads? It's a big if, but... And also...
I would love to see it work.
I also, for what it's worth, think that there is a small possibility, and I don't really see this in Andy Reid necessarily, so I don't think it happens, but there's a small possibility that even if Pat plays every game next year, that at some point in the middle of the season, he gets bored. Not bored, but like kind of bored, and he's like, all right, Taysom Hill. You know, like that's Justin. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know whether or not he can catch, but he's athletic. You put him out there with Pat, you know?
If you remember this, when it was obvious that Fields was going to be available last summer, I kind of wanted the Dolphins to sign him. Because with Mike McDaniel, with the weapons that the Dolphins had, with his athleticism that clearly Tua doesn't have, I was interested to see.
But then before Tyreek got hurt, that was just like triple option. It's just like, all right, does he run it? Does Devon run it? Or do we pitch it to Tyreek? And then after Tyreek got hurt,
guys, effective that could be. And then you're gonna
for like a week.
But then you're gonna open stuff up.
It's for like a week. Well,
you also have talent wide outside. So,
but he can't. I don't trust him to get it there.
All I'm saying is, I don't know.
Yeah. We're going to transition to a new segment that we've got here. We're going to call it To Beef or Not to Beef.
That's the question.
So last week, you said something that caught my attention a little bit. You said Mike Evans was a top 5 to 10 receiver of all time. 5 is definitely not true. We'll look and see if we can get to 10. I've loaded some guys up here. So we'll start it off right here with Mike Evans or Jerry Rice.
Well, first, this isn't fair to anyone. Right? Obviously, it's Jerry Rice. But let's not forget. I mean, obviously, Jerry Rice is number 1 anyway.
Right.
The numbers speak for themselves.
Yeah.
And I'm not a longevity number kind of guy.
Right.
But it's more than that.
No, for
right?
sure.
Because he was one of the best yak receivers of all time.
Yeah, well.
And so it wasn't like he was getting deep ball all the time.
Well,
he was taking 3-yard slants to the house.
And if you look at his PFF page, right, like they always like put in bold any number that you like led the league in that year. It's like he's got more bold than unbold. Like he's stupid. Yeah. It's not just longevity. It's just that he was the best player at the time. But it was
also not like he was going deep and catching a deep ball and stepping into the end zone.
Right.
He was one of the original yak receivers.
Absolutely.
Right? Obviously in the West Coast offense, which is what it's intended to do, but he was an expert at it.
Sure.
And let's not forget, Mike almost got to his record because he did get to didn't he get to 10 consecutive?
It was 11 consecutive. Jerry's was 12.
Okay. Yeah. So, he got to the 11, which no one else has ever done.
Right.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And so, again, Jerry's going to beat everybody for the most part.
Yeah.
Now, if you're asking me, this is kind of talking top 10 receivers, but would I rather have Jerry than Randy? That's a different story.
Sure.
But obviously, you take Jerry over Mike because you take Jerry over everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And I would also say, just like context here, right? Like Mike Evans' career numbers, got 866 receptions, 13,000 yards, 108 touchdowns, 74.2 yards a game.
Yeah.
And like you said, 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. He did lead the league in touchdown once. So also not just like a longevity guy
No,
either.
he's an instant guy.
And he does obviously have a ring, so that adds value. There's a lot of guys near the top of the list that just don't have a ring, and that's not the end all be all, especially for the receiver position, but it doesn't hurt for sure.
Right.
So then we've got Mike Evans versus Randy
Well,
Moss.
I mean, again, this is a no-brainer.
Right.
When you look at the yards, the touchdowns, they're not even close.
Right.
He had more balls, and I would say one thing that Randy and Mike have in common is, even though they did play with a couple of greats, and most of the biggest one being the same one,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
And Tom Brady for the season for Mike, and obviously for the season for Randy.
I mean, I think it was 2 or 3 for both of them, but yeah.
But either way, yeah, I mean, that's right. Tom was there the 1 year, but
Now Randy's second year there was when Tom tore his ACL and was out the whole year.
right.
But
I
yeah.
guess my point being, aside from him,
It's a lot of mid.
a lot of mid, right? And in some cases bad.
Sure.
But they still got it done.
Yeah.
And so obviously I'm taking Randy.
Yeah.
You can't, even if it was just the touchdowns.
I would say the biggest difference, right, like you said, other than we can also just talk pure talent. I mean, he's like, what, 6'5", like athletic freak, right?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Here's what Randy Moss is to the NFL and real wide receiver core. He's the Shaq.
Yeah, I mean, that's
to that position.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he was just so physically imposing. He was taller than everybody. He was faster than everybody.
Yeah.
And hands like no other. Like,
I would say
you just got it near him, he was going to make the catch.
Yeah.
And so you didn't even have to be that talented of a deep ball thrower for him to get it. So
I would say, other than obviously just pure talent, the biggest differences would be that he was a 4-time All-Pro, and Mike Evans has never made an All-Pro team.
But Mike has always been underappreciated.
Sure. And then the biggest difference is that, like I said, Mike Evans did lead the league in touchdowns once. Randy Moss did it 5 times, including the single season NFL record.
Why, if you were a quarterback and you were on your side of the 50, and at least one of those plays was in a bomb to Moss in the end zone, I'll never get it.
Right.
Would I have been shocked if somehow Moss beat Rice for touchdowns? No.
Right.
Like, it's kind of crazy. And if you look at a touchdown per catch, Randy is probably ahead in that. I've not done the math.
It's relatively close, I would say.
But yeah, obviously I'm taking Randy.
Yeah. All right, next one. So I've got Mike Evans or Terrell Owens, who's got about 200 more catches, almost 3,000 more yards, 45 more touchdowns. He does average slightly fewer yards per game, but he has had the end of his career where Mike Evans hasn't. We'll see how long he continues to stretch. Also a 5-time All-Pro, 3-time touchdown leader.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, again, touchdowns and yards alone do this.
Yeah.
I'm taking Owens.
That's fair. All right, next one. I've also got Larry Fitz, kind of like the epitome of just the longevity GOAT, but how much he did also twice lead the league in touchdowns, twice lead the league in receptions. He's got 600 more receptions, 4,000 more yards, only 13 more touchdowns though, and did average a full 9 less yards per game.
Here's what I'm gonna say, and this is gonna get me some heat.
Okay,
actually, if anybody sees this podcast,
fair enough.
Look, I love Larry Fitzgerald.
Yeah,
he's an all-time great. He's also an all-time great person.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, okay, so that's the other accolade I didn't put on there. 1-time Walter Payton Man of the Year winner.
Right.
So that's got to count for something.
He is legitimately just a good guy, good person, and he was a great player. I believe the stat is, doesn't he have
more tackles than drops? Yeah.
Like, talk about...
He went like 9 or 10 consecutive years without a single drop.
Right. What I will say that makes this, and again, played with a lot of questionable quarterbacking.
He also played with some really good quarterbacking, though. I mean, Kurt Warner, Carson Palmer, who, like, 2015 Carson Palmer, they got to the NFC title game, was really, really good. And Kyler late.
Early in his career,
right.
Late in his.
Right.
Look, here's the thing. This is a tough one. Because, yes, he had more yards. Yes, he has a few more touchdowns, but on a lot more catches.
A lot like
more games.
600 more catches.
A lot more games. His yards per catches were, because, look, he was not a deep threat.
No.
He was an end zone threat.
No.
When you got there, to a certain degree. And he was a possession type receiver.
Absolutely.
Right? One of the best ever to do it. And there's no taking that from him.
Yeah. I would say bare minimum, though, he just gave you a very, very substantial floor for 2 decades. You know, like your offense has a floor with him on the field.
Equate him to a player. It's Emmitt Smith. In the sense
That's fair.
In the sense that Emmitt Smith was a great running back. Most people probably don't even have him top 3 or 4, and he holds all of the records.
Absolutely.
Right? He's not what Jerry Rice was to receiving.
Right.
Emmitt Smith wasn't. And I kind of put Larry in that.
That's
Part
for
of
sure.
what he did was that he played for so long at a high level.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And he was good at what he was good at.
Right.
And so this is tough.
And kind of to that point, like you said, Mike Evans was never in all
their prime. Who I would rather have, I would take Mike Evans.
I think that's a valid argument.
Now, because his career's over, do I expect Evans to get to 17,000 yards? No. Do I expect Evans to get to 121 touchdowns? We'll see how this year goes.
It's possible. It depends on how many more years he plays, or like he technically could do it this year. It's probably not likely, but
he's probably the best end zone threat that team's going to have. I mean, from a receiver perspective.
Okay, I was going to say George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey both exist.
From the receiver position.
But even then, using your receiver position as that, assuming everybody's healthy, that might be 4 or 5 touchdowns because Kittle's going to get 8 and
because of all of
McCaffrey's going to have 15.
I'm going to say Fitzgerald. However,
that's not what I was expecting you to say. That's fair.
I'm going to do
it. Okay.
However, do I think by the time Mike Evans' career is over, that would be my answer? I don't think so.
Okay. That's fair. All right.
But I'm trying to be fair.
You know what? And honestly, I don't even know if I agree with that take, so I would have been fine if you said Mike. Like, I don't know.
But
this is the only really old one I've got on here. Lance Allworth, because his numbers are stupid. He does have about 300 less receptions and 3,000 less yards, and I think 17 less touchdowns. But his yards per game is about 1.5 yards higher. He was a 6-time, so he just played less time. He was a 6-time All-Pro, a Super Bowl champ.
He was only part of one of those Super Bowls?
He was on the 72 Cowboys because he played most of his career with the Chargers.
Oh, that's right.
And a few years of it, not all of it, but a few years of it was before the Super Bowl era. But he led the league in yards 3 times, the league in receptions 3 times, the league in touchdowns 3 times, yards per game twice.
So he played with
and yards per reception once.
Did he play with Dan Fouts?
I believe so. That might be slightly early for Fouts. No, he had to have played with Dan Fouts. Yeah.
Look, here's the thing. This is I'm going to tag this to recency bias more than likely.
That's fair.
I'm taking Mike Evans,
and that's fair. I just put him on there because his numbers are stupid.
I mean, the yards per reception is dumb, right? Which you don't have on here, but if you do the math there,
right,
like that is a crazy yards per reception.
Yeah,
I'm taking him. I'm taking Mike Evans here. It was fair to probably put him on here.
Right.
And also
it's kind of like comparing Shaq to like Bill Russell or something. It's like, who do you really care about?
That he played with Fouts, but Fouts was a deep ball guy.
Right.
He put up huge numbers. I'm going to take Evans. Whether that's fair to Allworth or not, I don't know.
Steve Largent, kind of like in between guy, like Jerry Rice time period.
Look, Steve Largent is still the best receiver in Seahawks history.
Did the lead the league in yards twice.
Will he be at the end of JSN's career? Probably not.
It depends on how long JSN plays there, but the ring helps JSN a lot. Obviously,
it does.
And then just the overwhelming talent.
But Steve Largent was probably one of the toughest wide receivers to ever play.
Yeah.
He was undersized. I think he was 5'7", 5'8".
No.
He was a little dude.
Really? I did not know that.
He went to Tulsa University.
I knew that. Yeah, I knew that. He's from Tulsa.
How big was he? Because it feels like, at least when you would look at him on TV, he didn't seem... Because I watched him play.
Sure. This is great podcasting, guys. We're very, very prepared. Steve
I didn't know.
That's 5'11". 5'11".
187 pounds.
Okay. Yeah, he's a small dude.
In an era, you could decapitate guys.
Right.
I believe if you go look at old pictures, he wore the 1 bar.
Yeah, I knew that.
Like, the guy was bruised up all the time. Sometimes his face was bruised. Like, one of the toughest guys to ever play. I'm going to take him again.
Right. I don't know where it is. I have it somewhere. I've got a picture signed by Steve Largent that I got from Papa's house when we cleaned it out.
Interesting.
I don't know where it is. It may not be real either. I don't know, but
I don't want to take anything away from Steve Largent.
That's fair.
Dude's tough.
That's fair. So far you've got 4 guys over Mike. So technically that still puts him in your top 5 as of now. We'll move it on to Megatron.
So I'm taking Megatron.
All right. 3-time All-Pro, led the league in yards twice,
physical,
receptions once, touchdowns once.
crazy. But
single season yards record.
It is weird to see his touchdowns that low.
They were bad. They were really, really bad.
But he also played.
He averaged 12 yards per game more than Mike Evans.
But he also played with a guy that
for sure, absolutely
resulted in some
Cooper Kupp, Puka. I get it.
Some of the best receiver seasons we've ever seen.
I get it,
including Devontae Adams this year leading the league in touchdowns.
True.
So, his yards per game is way higher. Obviously, his touchdowns are lower than you would anticipate.
They were just a really bad team.
I know, but given a guy of his physical, their offense wasn't.
It had its moments. Obviously, I mean, like during this time period, Matthew Stafford had a season where he threw for 5,000 yards, and he had some good number years, but like they were still just a bad team.
I'm taking Calvin Johnson, but the main reason is if he had completed his career, these numbers would be stupid.
Oh yeah, no, I mean if he had played another 4 or 5 years just to even be like remotely. I mean, he retired way early. I mean, he retired in 2015. If he had
Lions traditionally do.
Yeah, if he had played in 2019, especially if he had gotten off the Lions and like went to a team that was good, like who knows?
But I'm taking Calvin.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't like it.
Right.
But I'm taking it.
Marvin Harrison got a good amount more yards. I don't have Mike Evans' numbers next to me anymore, but he's
like 1,000 more yards. He's about 20 more touchdowns.
Yeah,
more per game.
Yeah.
Look,
3-time All-Pro, Super Bowl champ.
This is going to sound disrespectful. I'm taking Mike Evans.
I mean, the Peyton tax does exist.
That is the key. Would we know who Marvin Harrison is today? He was good.
Let's not go insane.
Okay. Would he have put up these numbers?
Maybe quite these numbers. I don't know, but he was still an elite talent. It's not like he was a low talent. Well, it's not like he was a low draft pick or something. Like he was coming into the he would have been a known quantity.
In today's league, he was an undersized receiver.
Would he be an all-time great without Peyton? Who knows?
Right.
Maybe not. Would we know who his name? Would he know his name? Probably.
Size alone, because if I recall, he was also, Mike Evans is a big dude.
Mike Evans is like 6'3", yeah.
He was
6'3". Oh, sorry. I was looking at Marvin Harrison Jr.
Like he's
6'1". Okay.
Jumping over a dude to get a ball. He had a lot of deep ones that he took to the house, right? So I'm taking Mike Evans just because I think it's the same reason I took Calvin Johnson over Mike Evans.
Right.
Like his physical skills, if I had to pick one of them standing there, unknown at quarterback, because again, Mike Evans did this with some lesser talent.
Sure.
Marvin Harrison basically had Peyton his whole career if he didn't have it his whole career.
Not his whole career, but a good amount of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I'm taking Mike Evans.
Sure. All right. So now we've got Mike Evans in 6th currently. So Chris Carter, 1,100 yards, almost 14,000. 1,100 receptions, almost 14,000 yards, 130 touchdowns. His yards per game is really low, but also he played some time with the Dolphins and like some bad years. 2-time All-Pro, 3-time touchdown leader, 1-time reception leader.
This is going to sound disrespectful to Chris Carter, and I don't mean it to be.
Okay.
Because I think he's an all-time great wide receiver.
Okay.
I'm not going to answer the question yet, but I do want to at least point out one thing. He played 4 or 5 years with Randy Moss on the other side, where he was the number 2.
Not to say that he wasn't already an elite receiver before that, but
he was actually drafted in Philadelphia and was not good there.
Right. But he was good in Minnesota before Randy got there.
He was.
Yeah.
But they had some real talent on that. Another guy that retired early, Smith, the running back, was great there. So there was some other things happening there, and I know this sounds disrespectful to Chris Carter.
Sure.
Chris Carter was a more athletic, faster version of Fitz.
Okay.
In the sense that he was more of a possession guy.
Yeah.
One of the best 2-tap guys on the sideline to get his feet in.
Right.
At the time that we had seen. And so he had a bunch of touchdowns. Be interested to ever break that down about how many of those happened while Randy was on the field.
Right.
As just a number 2 guy when he's getting triple teamed over there. So I don't mean it disrespectful. He was a great player. No question about it. But I think I'm taking Evans. I think Evans will surpass these numbers before he's done.
Fair enough. All right, the next one. Keep in mind, playing with maybe one of the most overrated quarterbacks of all time, at least in terms of numbers. The numbers were not there. And the system always reflected that as well. The era and the system reflected that as well.
I would argue in some ways Aikman's underrated because no one ever puts him in the category of being one of the best.
That's fair. Michael Irvin, though, 750.
Aikman was one of the most accurate quarterbacks.
750 receptions, almost 12,000 yards, only 65 touchdowns. But again, you're playing with Emmitt Smith your whole career.
And that's the thing, right?
75 yards a game.
55 touchdowns.
One-time All-Pro, 3-time Super Bowl champion, led the league in yards once.
So here's the thing. Again, first of all, let's not forget, I don't think Troy ever threw more than 3,500 yards.
Well, and that's the other thing, too, is that you had almost 12,000 yards when your quarterback never threw more than like 3,300 yards.
Correct. So I think that's partially it. You brought up the touchdowns. Most second halves of most games during the glory years there, it was Emmitt Smith left, Emmitt Smith right, because you had the best offensive line in football for a decade or more. That they got a big lead in the first half, and then they just got the air out of the ball in the second half. And so there wasn't as much of an opportunity.
Right.
He was always the clear number one on that team. So and I'm not a Michael Irvin fan.
Sure.
At all.
I think he hurts him. He only hurts his legacy now. He's pretty annoying.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's doing coke on the sideline.
Well, that's got to be true.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure he's doing coke pre-show and ESPN now.
I don't watch it. But here's the thing. You'd have
Michael Irvin, if you're listening to this, we'll be glad to join you on ESPN for what it's worth. For what it's worth.
He's not watching.
Okay.
The 5 people that are, thank you. But my point is that when you take all of that into consideration, the fact that he did put up almost 12,000 yards and 65 touchdowns with a run heavy and a great tight end as well, Novacek, right? What he did put up was impressive considering all of that.
Sure.
And he wasn't even the deep play guy on that team.
Right.
It was Alvin Harper for a lot of that span.
Okay.
I would take Michael Irvin.
That's fair.
You have to. On a different team, the numbers he might have put up, I have no idea.
I also think it's kind of crazy to think about, right? So I was taking a quiz earlier, and it was naming every receiver since 1990 that has had 7 or more 1,000-yard receiving seasons. And like it gave the last year that they had 1,000 yards, and there were 27 guys on there. He was one of them. The last year he did it was 98, which means he had at least 7,000-yard seasons in 8 years, which is, again, with that system, is absurd considering the fact that he had 1,000 yards in 7 of 8 years, or maybe even 8 of 8, I don't know, where your quarterback was throwing 3,000 yards. I mean, so he had a third of the, right.
Like, there's no question in a different offense, different quarterback. Like, if you had Michael Irvin with Dan Marino,
they win.
I don't know if they win a Super Bowl, but we were still putting up big offensive numbers.
Right.
My point is Michael Irvin.
Shout out Clayton and Duper.
Might have caught 2,000 yards. I don't know.
Sure.
Right. So I don't like it, but I would take him.
Fair enough. All right. And then I've just got some extra names because right now that puts Mike Evans at 7. So technically I haven't won yet.
Right.
But Tim Brown.
Love Tim Brown, but no.
No. Okay. AB.
He's crazy.
But he's crazy.
He had a 4-year span.
No, hold on. Not 4. Not
he
4.
Was elite.
He was also on that list, by the way, of 7+ 1,000-yard seasons. Right. He started in 2010. His last one was in 2018. So he had at least 7 in an 8-year period also.
He was incredible.
He was phenomenal. One of the single best seasons of all time in like 2014, 2015, somewhere in there. Him, Lev Bell, Big Ben. Like, that offense was stupid. But Julio.
No, and I'll use your argument against you.
I mean,
why?
I get the touchdowns. I get it. I get it.
He's not that good because he doesn't score touchdowns.
I didn't say he's not that good. I said that there were. I take D-Hop at the time. I was talking about D-Hop. I take D-Hop over him because of the touchdowns. Keep in mind, I was also like 13 at the time, but I fundamentally still agree with that statement. That's always why I said it in their peaks. Todd Gurley was better than Zeke, and that was never really a question. But Todd Gurley was better than Zeke because he led the league in touchdowns, and Zeke was getting like 5 touchdowns a year, whatever. But the same kind of idea. That's fair. Mike Evans isn't like a crazy touchdown machine either, but he did have more than Julio. But
he has over 100.
But Julio's pure talent is just stupid, though. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, physically gifted, great route runner.
Yeah. Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce.
Love them both. Right. Part of one of the best offenses, if not the best offense we've ever seen. I actually got to see them live in Seattle once.
Probably is.
The greatest show on turf. I got to see it live.
Yeah.
He threw Marshall Falk in there like it was elite.
Kurt Warner,
who came out of nowhere and was just crazy good. I do think his arena football helped him with that quick release and getting that kind of stuff. So, but here's the thing: because of that, I'm still taking Mike Evans. Mike Evans did this with a lot of lesser talent.
sure.
They had talent all over the place, and don't forget about coaching in that case. Like it was just one of the most exciting offenses ever, and they were part of.
Sure.
But I'm taking Mike Evans.
Reggie Wayne, I'm assuming we can gloss over because you didn't even take Marv. So
I will say, well, but here's an unpopular opinion. I think Reggie Wayne was a better receiver than Marvin Harrison.
all right.
I just do. He was a bigger guy. Like he was a more physically gifted receiver.
So do we have more of an argument with Reggie Wayne?
He's a more Mike Evans mold.
Sure.
I don't remember what Reggie's numbers were. His career did not last as long as Harrison's, I don't believe.
I think he played till like 2012.
And towards the end of his career, obviously, was not playing with Peyton Manning.
And he went to the Jags at some point.
Yeah, so I'm probably still taking Mike Evans.
Fair.
But it's not to be disrespectful to Reggie Wayne.
Tyreek Hill.
I'm taking Mike.
Peak Tyreek Hill is stupid.
He very
so
talented.
good.
If he was open, he's extremely talented.
Not if he's open. He caught balls that were insane. He had great hands.
I'm not suggesting he didn't, but he is an undersized guy, right? He's not going up.
Sure,
a big
but he's the fastest game speed player we've ever seen.
I don't know if I've ever seen, but obviously he's up there.
Game speed? Who are you taking over Tyreek Hill?
I don't know, but I'm taking Mike Evans.
Okay. I mean, I definitely disagree there. But I mean, that's something. Devontae Adams.
Again, I'm taking Mike Evans. And it's not to be just, but again,
Devontae Adams has led the league in touchdowns like 3-4 times, something like that.
Who were his quarterbacks?
Sure. That is.
He had Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers.
He was really good in Vegas too. He was a really good receiver in Vegas,
and he didn't have a terrible quarterback.
Oh yeah, Derek Carr. It was not great, not terrible.
I understand that, but he could throw the deep ball. He could throw the ball. He could
throw
to Adams, right?
He was not Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not taking Carr over many quarterbacks in any league, but let's not forget until that weird thing happened that one year with the injury, he was on pace to potentially be an MVP candidate that one year.
It was coming off of the year that Jack Del Rio had had won Coach of the Year, and they were the 1 seed, and Khalil Mack was Defensive Player of the Year. Going into the next year, I definitely had said Derek Carr was like my dark horse for MVP, and then he messed up his back and was hurt, and it was not good. But
so I'm taking Evans, but I don't necessarily mean that to be disrespectful. Devontae Adams, he's good.
Fair enough. And the last one, because we've already mentioned him a little bit on this podcast in a different sense, DeAndre Hopkins.
I don't know what D-Hop's ending numbers are. He was one of the best end zone guys we've seen. I mean, still one of the best plays you're ever going to see was the Hail Murray.
Oh my gosh!
Right. And so that was even probably.
And he led the league in reception and touchdowns several years too.
I'm probably taking.
I'm probably taking Aaron Rodgers.
Well, and a lot of substandard quarterbacks.
A lot worse than Aaron Rodgers. Until you had Deshaun Watson, he had nothing his whole career. Because he was between Matt Schaub and Deshaun Watson, so like he didn't even get Matt Schaub either.
It didn't last long. You could argue in some ways Murray might have been the best quarterback he played with.
I would say Deshaun was better while it lasted, but then it didn't.
Last long.
No, but
I would take D-Hop in his prime.
All right, that's fair. So I think that would put Mike Evans, if I counted right, at like 8. So that holds to your argument. So I guess I will take an L here for now. I didn't have a full complete list. Maybe I could have found more guys that were on it.
Good list.
Off top, I'm not really thinking of anybody necessarily.
There's some guys in the league now we could get there.
Sure. I mean, Puka. Look, give me Puka.
Here's
okay. Jettas. Put Jettas Mike Evans right now. I'm serious.
Well,
he's
only done it for 1 year.
1 year? He's been in the league for 6 years. No, not JSN.
Oh,
Jettas. Justin Jefferson.
Okay. What I was about to say.
Right. I mean, like right now, you can make that.
Where is he right now on my list?
Like
7,
8.
Look, right now, I can absolutely say this, which puts me right on the cusp.
Okay.
I mean, I would take Chase or Jefferson. over Mike Evans.
Okay.
They've already proven that.
All right.
Now, obviously, for most of Chase's career, he's had elite quarterback play. The same guy he played with in college.
Sure.
There's something to be said for that, but it doesn't change his skill.
Triple crown.
Right. As you know, I ranked Jefferson number 1 in the league.
Right.
And he's doing things his first 7 years no one's done.
Right.
Last year didn't look great for the first time where he had a really bad quarterback.
Yeah. But he still hit 1,000 yards.
He did.
Which is insane.
Which is keeping that streak alive, which is what?
JJ McCarthy.
Yards, I believe?
6.
6. So to be clear, I would take both of those guys over Mike Evans.
Fair enough. All right. So that puts you right on the edge, and then give it a couple more years. Maybe we're talking Puka. Maybe we're talking JSN. Maybe we're talking.
Yeah, I love JSN.
Yeah.
I love Puka too, but I like I
maybe at some point we're talking CD Lamb. No, that's not happening. But
I like CD Lamb, but I don't think he's in the same place.
Anyways, so I mean that puts us right on the edge. So I think that's a good topic for conversation. Mike Evans ends up a lot closer up there than I would have expected.
I mean, he's done some things guys haven't done.
How about Fred Biletnikoff? I mean, he's got a ring with the Raiders. I know that. I know literally nothing about Fred Biletnikoff other than he won a ring with John Madden, and he has an award named after him in college football. So you got to be pretty good.
He's probably smoking a cigarette on the sideline.
He was white, and he was playing in the 70s.
Smoking a cigarette on the sideline.
Yeah.
Drinking a can of Bud before he went back in. I don't know. That's what they did back then, right?
Pretty much. So. All right, well, this concludes to beef or not to beef. I guess we kind of beefed a little bit, not beefed a little bit. We're kind of there in the middle.
I think you could argue that I won, but that's fine.
I think it's close. All right, so we can go to some basketball. There's not a ton currently. We're just hitting that middle part of the season. But if you're following the generational beef, at Gen Beef Pod on YouTube, on Instagram, you did see yours truly capture the moment that Shai Avante got game number 127 and then almost lost it in game 128, but he didn't.
Look, I will say in 128,
we don't need to talk about 128. We can talk about 127.
Let me bring this up because it was funny. After we did that, we were both curious. Why did Wilt not get 128? Because he went on to have a.
Did you mention it in the podcast last week?
I did.
You're definitely the one that told me. You said you had looked it up.
It was during the 127 game.
Oh, that's right. You texted it to me.
Yeah. So we were both curious, but we hadn't taken the time to look it up. And they actually mentioned it on the broadcast that day, which was because we were both like, well, why did they get one?
What happened in 127?
After on 120, what would have been 129, he went on another 92 game.
No. 127 is the record. So he had 126. So 127.
Yeah. So 127. And then starting at what would have been 128 was a 92 game streak again. Like he would have been over 200. Turns out in 127, he was suspended at the 4-minute mark of the game.
Ejected.
Wilt Chamberlain was. That's what broke the streak.
It's crazy because he never found out, but I guess he got ejected.
Right, he got ejected
at least once.
Therefore, the streak was broken, which is what Shai just beat. Clearly, if he's not ejected in that game, this streak's over 200. Do I think Shai could do that? Yeah, probably.
It's possible.
128 was rough. It was a bad shooting night, but I think give credit to Ant. He was on it most of the night. Ant was all over him. And he played great defense on Shai, which made Shai very inefficient.
Shai had Ant had an inefficient night too, for what it's worth. But
I think it's possible to say that Shai had one of his worst games as a Thunder player.
I'm not going to say as a Thunder player. I mean, his first year he didn't even average 20 points a game on the Thunder. But
since in the last 3, I think it's
the last 4 where he's been averaging 30. It's up there.
It's probably the worst game since that
now.
point.
Where I will give you pushback is that he did still have 10 assists in that game, or 9 or 10 assists, and he only had
I'm just saying defensively and stuff. He was still great. He did have assists.
You're saying scoring.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying offense.
But he had 10 assists and only 1 turnover. Like he didn't even turn the ball over until like late in the fourth quarter.
No, I understand. I guess what I'm saying is from an offensive efficiency standpoint, it was one of his worst games.
It was lower for sure.
It's just
for sure.
It's just a fact. I mean, No, is what it is.
We still won the game, so who cares?
What I am super
we won the game and he extended the streak.
What I'm super excited about right now is a couple of things when it comes to the Thunder. I've said this before on this podcast, I'm still spooked by the injuries. However, a lot of that stuff's starting to come back up, and big kudos to 2 bench players. And this is
all of them
for sure. I'm excited about it from the Thunder.
Can you pick 2?
Well, hold on. If we get back to full strength,
sure.
The minutes our bench has gotten this year
absolutely
is
so invaluable.
So valuable. We might be able to go 13 deep in the playoffs, which is
I'm not going to say 13 because but like
my point being right now, I'm going to talk about 2 players, then I'm going to go back. Just like what we saw out of this last game out of Caruso and what we've seen out of the last 2 weeks out of Jay Will.
Okay.
This also goes to speak just of the way this team is constructed and the way their mentality is. When you look at Jay Will specifically, he's going to be fine going back to the bench and getting 6 minutes once everybody's back.
Yeah.
And he scored 30 twice in the last 2 weeks. Like, he's a capable scorer. We know what he brings defensively. We know what he can do depending on who the other players are.
Right.
Rebounding. He struggles against some people.
I mean, he is only 6'9", so it's but he's stocky too, though.
But he could guard anyone.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so I just think when you look at it that way, and then that's not even taking into the account the young players on this roster.
Lightning McCain.
I'm not even going to include McCain in this, right? When you look at Mitchell, you look at
my god,
you look at Wallace.
AJ Mitchell is so good. I will say that is the one thing that has slightly disappointed me, and not based on results, obviously, but just in general, because obviously Aaron Wiggins saved basketball, so we all love him. Since Jared McCain's been on the roster, we have seen a significant dip in Aaron Wiggins' minutes, which, again, that it kind of just comes with it. They're very similar players offensively. Aaron Wiggins is probably a slightly better defensive player, but Jared McCain has been playing really good defense as well.
Well, you can't join this roster if you can't play defense.
Well, but that was the thing. I didn't think he could whenever he did, and then maybe it's just because he was in Philly and didn't care, or it wasn't in the right spot to max it, but he's been playing solid defense.
Yeah.
It's easy to do not easy, but it's a lot easier to do when you've got 5-6 all defensive guys around you. But
so I'm excited in the sense that the guys that are getting minutes right now are going to probably pay dividends. I assume we're just being super careful with J-Dub. That said, I don't want us to wait too late to get him back in the rotation.
I did want to ask one thing in the context of J-Dub, because it's been concerning me here for a little bit now. I believe if everybody is healthy this season, and obviously if you get Dub and he's playing well, it increases your odds, obviously.
Yeah.
But I believe if everybody is playing other than Dub, I believe, again, our odds drop a little bit. I still would pick us to win the title.
I mean, right now, that's a proven fact.
Sure. My question becomes, if we get Dub back and he's playing, we'll not even say bad, but he's just not playing well. He's just mid.
If he's what he was during most of that span when he did play this year.
But is there more value in having him there as a decoy, or is there more harm in him taking up space and minutes that could go to somebody that's being effective?
Right now? I don't think
it has been concerning.
I don't think either of those things is true. And so what I mean by that is I do believe that if he's playing with the offensive inefficiency that he kind of did during that 20-plus game span that he played this season.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, towards the end of that, he was picking it up.
Yeah, he did have a couple games.
So, look, I think one thing is true. He hasn't forgotten how to play basketball.
No.
He just hasn't played a lot of it right now.
Right.
And so it's going to take a bit, which is why I would like to see him back in the rotation before the end of March, right? To have full.
Okay, so I guess to continue my point.
Let me
okay.
Finish what I'm saying. If he's struggling when we get to the playoffs offensively, because he's going to play good defense and
sure,
he'll still be a playmaker. That stuff's not going to go away. But if he's still that inefficient offensively, what I think it probably means from a practical standpoint, he's still the starter. He reduces minutes.
Oh, for sure.
Right? You're going to put guys like Mitchell in. You're going to put some guys like Wiggins and Wallace.
I guess my point would be only to say, and I'll circle back with a follow-up question that I had, is like in the finals, obviously he had the 40-point game. He was phenomenal. And throughout the playoffs, he played really great defense. But offensively, like the Denver series, other than like game 7, and he had one game, I think it was like game 4, but we lost it anyways, where he scored like 30 something. But offensively, in the Denver series was like as bad as we saw him all year. And we almost lost it. Now, part of that was just how good of a team Denver is and how great Jokic is. And obviously, we didn't almost lose game 7. That was never in question. But we did almost lose the series. And a good piece of that was just how inefficient J-Dub was for that whole series. So I guess my point is there a possibility where he does more harm to us than good? I don't know, but it has been something that's been concerning me. So my last follow-up question would be, you said you want to see him in the lineup before the end of March. What if he doesn't? What if he's not in the lineup until April 10th? Are you still wanting to bring him back, or do we kind of...
No, of course I do.
So there's not a world where you're like, maybe it's not the best option?
No.
Okay.
Look.
So I'm just in my own head right now.
Yeah, because it's disrespectful to Dub.
No, and I'm not saying that.
Say that he's not the second best player on the roster, or third at worst. I think he's second. I love Chet, but...
I think his peak can be second. I think that the way that Chet's playing right now is insane.
Yeah,
and so I'm
not liking that, but I am saying that it's disrespectful to Dub to even insinuate if he can play, we shouldn't drive. Right?
That's fair. That's fair.
It's disrespectful.
That's fair. Put me in my place because I probably deserve it. I'm sorry, Dub. I really am, buddy. You're elite.
He's proven. He'll be all right. I'm not worried about it. As long as he comes back, I'm not worried about it.
Right.
If he doesn't come back, I'm not happy about it.
Sure.
I assume we're just being super careful.
That's fair. That's fair. In the meantime, the rest of the roster is incredible. Like you said, AJ Mitchell. And I think part of the reason
And that's not even bringing McCain into it. It's not even bringing the fact that Hartenstein hasn't played a lot this year.
Right.
We're second in the league in games missed. Injury,
I think,
and we're the 1 seed still. And keep in mind, part of that was a span without Shai.
I think the biggest reason that I've even questioned the Dub thing is because he brings elite defensive value, and whenever he's playing well, he brings efficient offensive value.
Yeah.
But obviously we have elite defense everywhere on this roster, and we have other efficient shooters. So his biggest value to me is that he brings a secondary ball handler behind Shai. And we've seen AJ Mitchell take an incredible leap in that step this year. So I think that when AJ Mitchell plays, it makes me feel a lot better about Dub not playing. Again, not to say to your point that we wouldn't be better with him, and that it's disrespectful to even have the conversation on whether or not we should bring him back. But AJ Mitchell just gives me such a like safety blanket feeling right now with the way he's playing basketball. I mean, he's phenomenal.
We'll do our new top 5 next week. I think there's some variables we want to work out.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
That's fair.
I could give you a new one right now, but I don't want to go there yet.
Okay.
I want
top 5 contenders again coming next week.
I want to see
Stay tuned.
I want to see how the Tatum thing is going.
Yeah.
I think it's going to go great, but I want to see that a little bit.
Yeah.
More before we answer that.
I did.
The other thing is, and we're going to end on this.
Okay.
Sucks at basketball. Right.
Stop. Okay. The last thing I wanted to say was that I did see a meme that was really, really funny. Instead of load management, I heard, because we were talking about how Tatum didn't play, and for what it's worth, this wacko here was like, yeah, but he's played 3 games in a row. They just don't want to lose at their full strength. And I was like, bro, he missed 10 months of basketball. I think 1 game is fine. Anyways, I heard somebody online call it, instead of load management, Lou Dort management, because they just like don't want to play against him. And I was like, all right, I mean,
I stand correct.
He tore his Achilles, and he doesn't want to get roughed up by Lou Dort. I mean, correct. Fair enough.
I stand correct.
Fair enough.
So a couple of upsets that I have I do have Troy beating Nebraska in the first round.
Okay. Which is nice because I'll be there. So fun.
They're in this region. I was not aware of that. And I do have, this one is big. This is pretty big actually. I have Hawaii beating Arkansas. I love what they did in their tournament, and they've been, I don't know what to make of it. And I know Arkansas has been great, and they won the SEC.
They won the SEC, but the other team won the Mountain West. So
right, great division. But I am picking Hawaii to get out of the first round. Maybe the only person doing that.
I mean, not the only. There's a lot of brackets getting filled out, but
not a huge upset. But I do have Missouri over Miami.
Okay,
first round. Not a huge difference there, but I do have that. I also have Santa Clara over Kentucky. Also, not a big difference in seeding, but I do have them over.
Dub represent.
There you go. So those are my upsets in the first round. And then my final 4, is Kansas, Florida, Gonzaga, and Michigan.
And then you got winning it.
Gonzaga, baby.
Over who?
Florida.
Oh, Gonzaga over Florida. All right.
Yeah.
So for starters, you said you got Hawaii over Arkansas. Let's start with the fact that here's my title champion, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Like you said, they won the SEC. They got hot at the right time. I like looking for a team that gets hot at the right time. They've been a really good team all year, but they got hot at the right time. They won the SEC tournament, which is a brutal tournament to go through. They had a couple close games against Ole Miss, but Ole Miss took down some absolute juggernauts in the tournament, and then a close game with OU that went to overtime. But Darius Acuff is phenomenal. He's going to be probably a top 10 pick in the draft. He's definitely going to be a lottery pick, but probably top 10. And then you got Calipari as your coach. So, I mean, I think that really goes a long way.
Although you gave up your goods on the first one. So
maybe, but I think that what I like to do in this sense, first of all, neither of us are actual college basketball guys.
Well, I watch it, but to be fair, there's two reasons I'm not. The first reason is they got to make some rule changes. The shot clock's too long. The
product is not good.
The pace of play is just sometimes hard to watch.
Yeah.
You could get over that back in the day before NIL because, oh my God, they just play with so much passion. They just play because they love basketball.
That's the other thing.
They're all getting paid.
Right. And all of college sports have gotten hurt by that.
Yeah,
and
the rivalries aren't there the way they were. Everybody's viable. And I don't blame the players, right? If you can, especially if you know you're not going to make the league. This is your only real chance to make real money before you start your actual career at some point. So I don't blame the players, but it's even further impacted the quality.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I will say, for what it's worth, though, there are a couple things. If you use March Madness Live as your bracket, first of all, we will put the link down in the description. Go join our group. I'll also put it on our story on Jinby Pod on Instagram. Go join our group. But if you use March Madness Live, you'll know that they have like the analytics stat builder that you have. There are a couple things that I really look at as good things, as good indicators there for what I like to look at in that sense. The first of which is 3-point shooting. Because I don't care the difference in talent. If you're a good 3-point shooting team and you get hot that day, you can upset a team. The other of which is how many points off turnovers do you get / turnovers committed by the other team per game? Because again, if you can have a team that gets out and runs a lot, you can win a game. And 3-point shooting gets hot. So those are my big factors that I put into that. There's a couple other things too, but those are my big factors. What I noticed is that for the analytic that I brought up, a lot of my teams on the right side of the bracket were much better than the left. But then a couple other things is just that Duke is really, really good this year. Cam Boozer is phenomenal. Kansas, I didn't have going crazy far just because they had an up and down year. Wishy-washy. Is Darren Peterson going to play so I don't lose in the second round to St. John's? A big upset for me, which would be really cool if it happens, because another one of the games that I will be there for is I did have Nebraska beating Troy, unlike you. But in the other side of that one, I had McNeese upsetting Vandy, which was kind of cool to me.
I think I had Vandy going.
But I had McNeese actually going all the way to the Final Four and losing to Duke as a 12 seed.
Okay.
And then I had...
You brought that up because we're going to talk about that.
I had Arizona losing to Arkansas, obviously, as a 1 seed. I had Michigan losing to Iowa State as a 1 seed. And then last 1 seed, Florida, their analytic on my ratings just wasn't very high. It was only a 46. So I took them to lose in the first round to we don't know yet, but it's going to be Lehigh, which is where CJ McCollum went to college. And so I'm picking Lehigh. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go Lehigh. And
this broadcast.
I don't, and then anyways, so my Final Four is Duke versus McNeese. I took Duke. And then I had Iowa State versus Arkansas. I took Arkansas, and I've got Arkansas beating Duke for the title. Darius Acuff, Final Four most outstanding player. And that's what we got. So this is all going to be wrong in about 3 days. However, like I said, we are not college basketball watchers. We don't know. I watch a lot of basketball this week and next week in college, and that's about it for the year. So I will learn the rest of their names in July, whenever they get drafted. So props to y'all. That's it. That's all we got for college hoops. So, yeah. This has been another episode of the Generational Beat Podcast. Thanks for sticking around. If you're still here, like, comment, subscribe, show us some love. Tell me what you think about our new advertisement that I got on all of our reels, and put it to use. Sub to us if you're watching us. Come watch the pod. Yeah.
Generational Beef.
The beef. Peace.